Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciate that. Thank you to the followers and tell your friends and family about it. I'd appreciate that as we hope to and want to expand the channel for others as well, grow this community as we thrive on being an integral Habs channel here where we stick to fact, avoid rumor as much as possible. So, if you come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing. Hit the likes. Muchly would appreciate that. It helps the channel grow. All right, let's get into it. It is March 7th. Montreal started their road trip in the West Coast, going into Edmonton. Final score 3-2 overtime victory by the Oilers. So we'll give you the breakdown, then discuss briefly. There's pretty basic here. 1-1 in the first, 1-1 in the second, and then, of course, in the overtime, you get the winner by the Oilers. There was no scoring in the third. Skinner gets the win. He had a strong game. Boy had a strong game as well. Bouchard gets the winning goal. All right. In Alberta, Evan Bouchard scored off Connor McDavid's nifty centering pass after McDavid circled Montreal's zone late in overtime to give the Edmonton Oilers a 3-2 victory over the Montreal Canadiens Thursday night. Leon Draisaitl scored his NHL leading 46th goal and assisted on Bouchard's goal. Corey Perry also scored, and Stuart Skinner made 25 saves as the Oilers had lost 6 of 7. The Canadiens had won 5 in a row. Cole Caulfield scored his 31st for the Montreal Canadiens. Yoel Armia scored. Also beat Skinner, and Montembeault stopped 29 shots. First star, Leon Draisaitl. He had a strong game. 1 goal, 1 assist, positive 1 in the plus minuses. Bouchard, 1 goal, 1 assist, positive 1 as well. And Cole Caulfield, 1 goal, positive 1. So, scoring summary: 9:34. Corey Perry scores 1 on a break, assisted by Max Jones and Connor McDavid. Cole Caulfield kind of broke out and broke a play up unassistedly. Goes up the ice, fires on Skinner. Skinner can't handle the rebound, and Cole Caulfield does the smart thing and follows up his shot, and on the rebound, pots it in behind Skinner to keep it, to respond for Montreal at 15-14. And we go into the second period tied at 1. At 1:06, Leon Draisaitl, assisted by Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins on the power play. Can't give the Oilers too many power plays, especially this game kind of showed that for this team anyway, it makes a difference not having Gooley. I think that's why we've seen Draisaitl score. Okay, at 10:19, Yoel Armia gets one, his 11th of the year, assisted by Lane Hudson and Jake Evans. Nice shot. What a play for Lane Hudson, carrying the puck up the ice and just lulls them to sleep. There's 3 or 4 blue shirts headed in his direction, and then he hits the brakes as they close in on him. And it was a lulling play, the way he maneuvered, slowly coming in, and then hits the brakes, boom, pass over to Armia, right in the wheelhouse, and Armia makes no mistake. Ties this thing at 2. Beautiful goal. Third period, no scoring. They fought hard. And then in the overtime, 4:52, Bouchard scores the goal. And that, to me, should have Connor McDavid assist on it, and which it doesn't. These stats guys, I don't know, man. All right, so final shots 32-27. They outshot us. 29-21 in the hit department for Montreal. Faceoffs 27-23 for Montreal. Power plays 1 for 3 for Edmonton. 0 for 2 for Montreal. We could never get started properly on our power plays. Just a little too much, trying to be a little too fancy, in my opinion. Penalty minutes 6-4 for the Canadians. Got to watch the discipline. Giveaways 13-10. That kills us for the Canadians. Takeaways 12-2 for the Oilers, and that was a big story in this. A lot of sloppiness by the Habs um, in neutral zone, and especially in our own end. Yeah. Okay, block shots 24-14. Good. That was a good summary for us. So I'm not even going to discuss the power plays. We had a too many men um, penalty at one point, and that's a lack of that always bothers me. That's just a lack of paying attention to what's going on. That's to me, it's almost a partial coaching thing to keep that in check. Now, mind you, we haven't had one of those in a bit, but last night did seem to be a fumbly type of game. The Habs seemed to break down, and um, a lot of disorganization and lack of communication is what you were seeing from what I could see of it. Not a bad game, not as good as they've had, but there was fight in them. The first line fought. I wasn't overly impressed with Slavkovsky's game. Wasn't a bad game for him, but he's got way more to give. This was kind of a It's kind of like he just wanted to skim by, and his physicality, if he would have cranked it up, could have made a big difference, especially on the board battles. I mean, not to say he didn't do some of it, but not to the intensity. If he's trying to read tape on Brady Kachuk or Matthew Kachuk, he was nowhere near that department last night. He was just kind of really soft last night, in my opinion. The urgency wasn't in him. And he didn't have a bad game. That's not a total bad game. He's just got to increase. What I seen lacking was the intensity, and for him to be effective, he has to crank that up. Second line had an all right game. They were playing half decently actually. Not bad. Although Beck was having a bit of problems with the Oilers, and that's to be expected with a rookie. But he didn't play bad. Second line did play, I thought, fairly well. Um, Dvorak, Gallagher, and Anderson. Anderson was kind of quiet, a little quieter tonight. Dvorak as well. I found Galley was on the money last night. His just go engine, like when he came out of the box and was trying to skate away, and you thought for sure he's going to be taken out by the first defenseman, and he still manages to get through two of them and get in behind the net and kill some seconds. The heart and soul of Galley is just phenomenal. I love this guy in that way. He just the engine that doesn't quit. You hope that they could thrive off him because they're going to have to pull it together very quickly. I'm glad we stole a point, but we could have done more. Um, Thankfully, a lot of teams that we're battling with lost. That's a good thing, but we could have gained more ground with a victory. But however, we just got to. They're going to have to capitalize in Calgary. That's all there is to it. These victories are too crucial. No excuses. They got to get the foot back on the gas. A little more physicality from Slav, whole lot more actually, um, and no gliding in a neutral zone. Just he's got to keep his feet moving. He's for the most part he had them moving, but he had some momentarily moments where bit of gliding. He's got to watch the tape and watch. Oh, this is old habits. Let's not go back into those. So for me, yeah, I loved Heineman's game. Just crack, crack, crack. Line four was fairly good. Only thing I was a little concerned about, oddly enough, is Jake Evans. He actually coughed up a puck that was almost in the third period that almost came back to haunt us. And I don't know, do you get a little too comfortable after you sign a contract? Is that the case? But we love Jake, so that's you're going to make some mistakes. Uh, and like I say, okay, if this one's a case of we've held McDavid and Draisaitl off the board when Gooley was in the lineup, so I'm thinking that might have been. And you see Draisaitl score one, and McDavid was fairly uh, effective last night. And so I don't think Goolies makes all the difference in the world. Don't get me wrong, but I do think he does very well in that department of shutting down guys. And we seen that last night, no doubt about it. So that's a missing component. But we're going to have to regroup very quickly and get our not a bad game. Thankfully, we steal a point, but again, we got to get it together very fast. We have to beat Calgary. There's no doubt in my mind. I think we have to win that game, especially now after this result. We have to win that game. There's no time to lose. So, at that being said, it's trade deadline day. I don't expect much from Montreal. I've been saying that, where we've placed ourselves in the mix. And again, I'd like to see Armia re-signed just for shorter term. One about 2 year contract, I think would be fine for Armia. I hope he gets signed. I think he deserves it. Savard again, I think he's the perfect ideal seventh defenseman in my books for Montreal going forward. Um, and Dvorak, he's been very good in the circle, mind you. I know everybody's going to say the speed won't match them in the future, so that seems to be the one area. But I tell you, don't kid yourself. That guy's worked hard. But I don't see Montreal making a move unless there's an outstanding offer. I don't think they're going to break this up. They're just going to want to do anything. I'd like to see them address getting a second line center. And however, will this happen before the trade deadline, or will that? For me, I see it more so being a summertime thing. That's when free agency July 1st comes. I think or the draft. I think they'll address that then and make sure they got a really good second line center. I still like Cousins. If that's possible, realistic trade. It's got to be realistic. But other than that, I wouldn't mess with the gel of this team, with the cohesiveness of this club. I'd go forward, and I like what Kent and Jeff are doing. So go Habs, go! And yeah, just yep, keep and they just got to keep the foot on the gas. There's just a little bit of rustiness here and there. Like unfortunately, as good as Hudson was, he did have a lapse and caused a breakaway. We had that. Struble made a horrible error being on with early on with Hudson, and that caused the Perry goal, and played that totally wrong. Why he had to think he had to come over where Hudson already was, that's beyond me. And that's something too. I think he should have got taken aside for that because he got himself out of position periodically. But overall, the defense worked hard. Got caught here and there. I thought on the second Oilers goal, I thought Savard gave too much gap when that shot was fired in by Draisaitl. You can't give him that type of space. He's going to fire it, and he's got quite a shot. And I thought the overtime, same thing. I thought that pass over. I thought the coverage, we just had to take each man, and we didn't quite cover them well enough. Bouchard left open. And I thought Monty had a solid game. I think Monty held us in, to tell you the truth. And other than that, not a bad game. Effort wasn't bad. There at least was effort. But like I say, there's a couple players that got to pull the socks up. Slavkovsky being one. Evans got to pull it up just a bit more. It just seemed, I don't know if it's the relief of the contract stuff being over, but he's better than that with that cough up. Thank God it didn't cost us, but no big worries. We love Evans. He gives you 110. Defense. Strubel's going to have to work on that and stick to his damn side. His partner's he's got to realize these guys, and I've been noticing that in their game periodically. One instead of sticking to their side, they're wanting to glide over and then over um, compensate on that one side, and then they leave the other side open that they're supposed to be on. That's got to stop. That's got to be something they work on and clean up. Anyway, that being said, it was not a bad game. At least we fought hard enough to get the point, and brings us up one. We still got a long ways to go because Rangers are moving up now, and I personally think the Rangers will be in the playoffs. They're too good to not be. But teams are picking up players to make the push, like the Lightning picked up, Gordon, Yan Gordon. I forget the other player, but these guys are picking up players to go for it, and the Rangers been doing a lot of that as well. So I expect them with their veterans presence to be in the playoffs. And but I like the effort the Habs are being in the mix, and but they got to win that next game if they want to push it further. They got to keep going. Can't have a bad road trip. Thank you for watching. You've seen it here first at Center Heights Productions. We will catch you after the Calgary Flames game, unless there is a trade made today, later today, through the day. I don't foresee it, but you never know. And I just don't think we're going to get that second line center we need until draft or summer. I just don't see it happening quick at this point by trade deadline. Not enough guys freed up at that point. Teams want to make a push. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. God bless.